The last time we linked up on the Situationship Circle,
what other ethnicity has to be defined by some sort of identity? No one else talks about white male identity, Latin male identity.
What is a black woman doing to make him make those decisions? Not saying that it's right. I'm not saying that it's right. But I'm saying that every consequence has a reaction.
I'm gonna let you guys know. I'm not gonna, we're gonna keep it going. Because I feel like...
I'm trying to understand what you're saying.
So what I'm saying...
All you do is talk about being black, you're limiting yourself. And that egoist idea, that it really bounds us. And it's another thing that...
What's up, guys?
Hello, everyone. Yes.
I am your hostess with the mostest.
With the
and we
most.
are at the Situationship Circle.
Yes.
And we have a great group of people here with us
do.
today. So obviously y'all know I am Tony Breon and y'all know Mr. Norman.
I am Norman Devon as always. Yes, guys, we are here today to talk about some amazing stuff. We're going to be talking about some stuff. We're going to be breaking down.
Ooh, okay.
We breaking down.
I'm ready.
Girl, what kind of boundaries we going to break?
Break out. I think you should tell them what we break.
Girl, so today we are going to talk about sexual boundaries. Are y'all ready to talk about sexual boundaries?
Don't all get excited. Like people love to talk about sex until it's time to talk about sex.
When it's time to talk about sex, they don't want to talk about nothing.
Everybody close mouth, don't get fit.
Go around the tricks. So, what's our first question, Miss Tony?
Okay, so first I'm gonna let Norman pass out the cards to everybody. So we, as he said, are talking about sexual boundaries, but we really want to know, when does someone's sexual past become relevant in a relationship? Or like when y'all just start talking, Jordan's wheels are already turning back there. I can see her from over here. But so we want to know, when does someone's past become relevant? Like, when do you get tested? When do you even talk about it? Is that something that you do together? We want to know. So who's gonna speak first? We got to turn over our cards.
Oh, what do you know?
Mr. Turn his head around.
And I'm going to go ahead and kick off strong. So we can go ahead and get this thing rolling.
You got something to say.
Yeah. Well, mic me up. So, the getting tested part, definitely need to do that part. But with the telling me about your sexual past, I actually don't want to know. Whether it was 3 people you slept with or it was 30, it makes no never mind to me, because as soon as you hug somebody and I see it's that extra little embrace, now my mind is rolling like, boy, is that the dude she messed with?
Was you one of the 300?
So I'm just saying, I said 30, 300, I think I may have known about it. Somebody texted me, well, hey, if it's 300, somebody should have texted me and said, hey, bro,
Listen,
come on now.
your number changed.
But I'm just saying, the number factor, I don't want to know. It'll only make it worse for me. And I don't necessarily want to share mine. So we're growing together from where we are now, not from where we came from.
Okay, so do we all agree that we starting over? Come on, this is a good one because I'm ready.
So I don't want to know the number. What I do want to know is if there's somebody that I'm interacting with, that you have interacted with, you need to tell me.
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's all I have.
That's the only one?
Yeah.
All right.
My only concern is, like, do you have a girlfriend? Do you have someone that thinks she's your girlfriend? Like, what's the move? I just want to know. That's all I want to know. I don't really care about how many people. Is that a thing? Are we still doing? I thought that was like a high school question. Like, what's your number? Like, is that like a? Is that something that adults do? Is ask
I think
like.
people still are curious.
You think people are?
I think. I'm about to say, I think people are curious. I think there's definitely roundabout ways people ask, how much have you done in your past? They might not say what's the number, but they kind of want to get a sense for where, at one point we're getting it popping. Because a lot of times it's not just necessarily about, the amount of people. People just don't want to walk around looking stupid.
Okay.
They don't want to walk around with somebody thinking they got all these good things going on with them, and that dude or that girl has messed with everybody. That's the part most people won't want to deal with because it's embarrassing.
I would say essentially the same thing. It's just a matter of where are you all at in your relationship. I think that's the part that matters the most. Because if you're just starting off talking, if you're just hanging out, there's no. Are we going to assume that that both of you are looking forward to be in some type of monogamous situation where it's just you two? If y'all haven't said that, hey, it's just going to be me, it's just going to be you, that's it, then up until that point, you know, they very well could be doing whatever. You very well could be too. So therefore, that number at that point in time, it's kind of irrelevant if you're not, you know, established that you're together.
So y'all playing real cute. Y'all real cute. But let's talk about it for real. We gotta go dig a little bit deeper, right? Because we all talking about numbers. It's real cute. But let's talk about for real. Do we really want to know what somebody has done in their past? Because let me tell you something. We need to talk about sexual boundaries. And what I have heard, I've had people come to me and say, oh, I used to do this. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. I got to go lay down and pray about that first because I don't know if I'm ready for that. I don't know if I'm ready to assume on all of that. That's something.
Like, what if
It could be actions, reactions, testings. It could be stuff.
What if your woman was a lady of the night?
She used to be a prostitute.
I don't know all that. I don't know all these.
But you don't want to know that.
Clarify for me. So I don't think I'm talking about something and I can be talking about something wrong. Terminology.
What if she was a prostitute? Like, what if you're, or escort?
Currency. Exchange of money. Man, hell no.
But that's what I'm saying.
I gotta know that.
That's not a number.
That's not a
When
number.
do we have that conversation?
I think if you get to the point where you're in a relationship and you haven't done your research and that's a surprise to you,
I'm gonna do my due diligence.
Exactly.
Okay, all right.
I mean, if you're 28 something, if you're 20 something years old, you can't tell somebody has been around the block a couple times by the way they interact with you and everybody else that you've been around. That's why I always say whenever you're in relationships, you need to see how people interact with other people.
Okay.
You know, are they extra friendly, or are they like kind of coming and nudging you, saying like, hey, I'm here with you. You know what I mean? Like those things should be explored.
Okay, so I get that, but this is my thing. Everybody that interacts with everybody, that they can just be a little social butterfly.
Yeah, like I'm an extreme extrovert. Like I'm not gonna like if I'm gonna do and like I'm meeting his friends, obviously I'm not gonna be in everybody's face, but like I'm an extrovert. That's a part of my personality. I am a light. So I'm not gonna dim that just to make a man feel comfortable about me being around his friends. Like that's not okay. Then we don't need to be together. If I can't be the same light that I am single in a relationship, then we don't even want to talk about boundaries because I'm not going there with you. Like, we already crossed that line. You know what I mean?
I hear you. I think from the perspective that we're talking now, we're looking at a man looking at a woman. But how many times, women don't even want to ask men how many women they slept with just because it's typically a larger number when we're talking about a heterosexual relationship. So I think we should zoom out a little bit when we're just looking like, oh, if your girl been around the block or if your girl used to be an escort. I know people that literally, men that only mess with women if they have something to offer, aka money, a housing, job, clothing. The list goes on and on. And so we're looking at the perspective from, if a woman has been around the block, but plenty of men have been around the block.
Oh, I agree.
And
this is my perspective of how I would assess.
Sunflower's not here, but she said it before. Men have a lower threshold for bullshit. So anytime we start talking about anything relative to a number or to how many guys you dated or what type of guys you dated. Have you dated a baller? Have you dated an athlete? Have you dated somebody? Some people may consider a bum. Like, did he have a job? So I think we should diversify the conversation a little bit to men and women, not just women.
Okay.
So I think I'm gonna play the devil's advocate because this is honest. I would want to know. I would want to know the past because I believe that it helps you shape your future with that person. If you know that you were with an escort, if you know that you were with somebody that slept with 100 women, if you know that you were with a woman that had a crazy past, but now she has truly committed or he has truly committed to you, it just makes that relationship so much more beautiful. That you have went through this phase like we talked about in the last episode, or you have been through this, or you had certain insecurities or inadequacies about yourself, and you've grown to the point where now you see that one person and you have like a horse with blinders on it, you don't see anything else. I think it helps with that beauty. It's way easier said than done. Because if somebody came to me and they were like, I've been with 500 men, I'm like, cool. It was nice knowing you. But I feel like there is some beauty in that.
And I feel powerful, man, because I feel like this. I feel like if you're going to accept someone, we're going to enter into this whatever this is that we're going to do. I feel like we have to be open and honest with each other. How can I expect you to believe in me and to love me if you can't love me for my past? Whether it be my sexual past, whether it be my criminal record, whatever that is. whatever it is, I have a past. You have to accept me for my past. Every saint has a past, and every sinner has a future. Like, you got to be able to accept me for whatever that looks like.
Okay, we're going to let Dasha speak, and then we're going to go to Kiana.
I feel that. That's beautiful. Yay. Kumbaya. But the thing is, do you have to know my sexual past in order to love me for me? I mean, we can talk about that eventually, but that's not what's going. Your love should not be contingent upon that. It's not relevant. So if I decide that I want to open up to you about that later on, at some point in time, that's cool. But I don't need to tell everybody my business when I'm first meeting them. And if I do tell you and you are using that as like, oh, well, she slept with this many people, so I am or am not going to date with her or whatever, like I don't think that should be a thing. Because I understand I'm going to be open.
And I agree with that.
I want you to know me.
I agree with that. But when do we have that conversation?
Well, I mean, once you feel like it's getting real, once you feel like it's getting intimate, once I feel like I'm comfortable, I think we live in such a microwave society that we want to know everything about everybody immediately, and building a relationship takes time.
It does.
It's not just a swipe on Tinder. Like, building a relationship takes time, and over time you learn different things about people. You know, even throughout a course of a marriage, you're going to continue learning things about that person. And you already have that love for them, you already have that respect for them, so you continue to love them through things that you learn about them. There might be problems or issues that come up later because they have baggage. You learn those things and you roll with it. But I'm not coming to date 1 through whatever in the beginning and just being like, here's all my bullshit. Do you love me now? Like, I'm not doing that. That doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense.
Okay, so anybody else, when is it okay to have those conversations?
I feel like it's a double-edged sword, because you say like you would want to know if your person has been with like 100, 200 people, but can you really operate normally knowing that information? Like, some stuff is like better unknown, because if I know that you've been sleeping with 200 men and I'm a man, like this is my woman, she slept with 200 men, I'm feeling like maybe you're susceptible to sleep with most men, like at that point, because 200 men, how do you come across 200 men that you want to sleep with? So then it's like, in any situation when I'm not with you, can I really trust you? Because I feel like your standards maybe are like a little questionable, or were at some point, which is true, like people evolve and they like grow and all that good stuff. But at the core, we're still like, something ain't quite right with you, because you come across a lot of men that you're comfortable with sleeping with. That's my thought.
I'm of the camp that it doesn't really matter. If you are attracted to somebody, if I'm attracted to you, Dasha, and so like why would I think that other men wouldn't be attracted to you, or you wouldn't have like been with other men? Like, so to me it doesn't really matter. Like, if that person's attractive, more than likely they've been with other people other than you. I feel like it's kind of narcissistic and like kind of selfish to be like, well, you know, wait a minute. You know, if it's 2 digits, I don't know if it's more than 7. I just feel like it's kind of unnecessary. I feel like, kind of like what you said, if you're interested in having a relationship with somebody, you can let that grow. And like, as you grow to love that person, to trust that person, that number, that past doesn't matter anymore.
So I think we get caught up on that one concept of a number, but I'm thinking we're talking about sexual past in its entirety. Like, do we really have that conversation, or am I to say, okay, you know what, I love you and I love you, we're starting fresh today, so it doesn't matter that I used to do this, or it doesn't matter that I had contracted syphilis a few times, or you know, like
that just happened real fast. That just blew up coming real quick. I thought y'all were
that's a part of the sexual past.
No, that's a part of
some other areas.
Because at what point, say you're dating somebody and the person has HIV or something like that, or the person, whatever.
Oh, I don't want to know your past, and we're starting fresh.
Yeah, we're starting fresh. So then I don't want to know anything about your past.
But you didn't want to know. I'm just saying, no. It should be, something's wrong. If we're about to get it popping and you got HIV, you don't tell me.
That's a crime.
That's
literally illegal.
Yes. So what is illegal? Let's pause there. What is illegal is to have unprotected sex with someone. Not to disclose your status.
If you do not notify me prior to sexual intercourse or sexual activities that you have an STD, we got a problem.
We might have a problem.
I'm just saying.
Because I ain't got
All I'm saying is when we're talking about timing, in terms of having timing, for when we have these conversations, that's a damn good time to tell somebody you got something.
So is it before we get naked and you already
I'm pretty sure you're not gonna volunteer the information the first time you go out to dinner. But if we're dropping clothes and it's getting active,
you gonna say,
I got something.
I got chlamydia.
And then why wouldn't she bring it up?
You can be like, by the way,
I have herpes. But hold on one second, we got an interjection, guys.
Yeah, all right. So when I originally requested to speak, this conversation took a whole different turn. So that's just all the gate. So I mean, speaking of that point, I would definitely like to know if somebody's got some health issues going on with them, because that's different. That's a different deal, because we're not just talking about sex anymore. Now we're talking about health. You know what I mean? So you've got to disclose that type of information. But as far as just sexual boundaries, I've never met a woman that didn't have a sexual past. You know what I mean? So that's just off gate what it's going to be. You know what I mean? So, you can dismiss that until there's some type of disappointment going on. Then that conversation can be started to be had. No matter what the red flag is, everybody has their own individual red flags. So when those red flags come up, then that's at that point in time can conversation start to happen.
Okay. I have a question though, and I feel like I'll let you speak. But what if you guys are both celibate, so you're not even discussing sex? You know what I mean?
I feel like you're celibate. You're telling somebody.
What do you mean? I'm saying like you're dating someone and you guys are both celibate. You guys have decided to keep sex off the table. So at what, there are different levels to when it's appropriate to tell somebody. If y'all are not speaking about sex, then my sexual past wouldn't matter, would it? Because we're not even that's not even a part of our culture in this relationship.
I can't speak on that because I've never been celibate.
Oh no, me either. I'm just asking.
You need to know that. We're not talking about sex.
When it comes to dating, there needs to be a certain level of transparency. Like I said on the last episode, what is good for you and your couple is not the same as the last thing. So when it comes to what you want to reveal, it's up to when y'all cross that point. When it comes to health-wise, you need to be transparent enough and selfless enough to let somebody know ahead of time, I have this, and if you continue to proceed, that's a different story. You may not need to go into a story or detail, but have a blanket, have a boundary, let somebody know to a certain extent, okay, if you're fucking with me with this is what you are at risk for. There are people in this world who are willing to still date you when you provide information. So there's no point in being self-conscious. If you did it, you did it. If you have it, you have it. Let someone know, and let someone who wants to deal with you, deal with you. There are people.
So we're talking about leaving people. So do you guys feel like if someone had something or they had something like that they couldn't really, take a pill for, you think you could continue a relationship with them? Let's say you've been dating somebody and they come and say, be transparent and say, you know what, I'm gonna be honest with you, I have herpes.
I'm not doing herpes. No, I'm not. That's just one mother that I will not. That's something that I couldn't do. But I do think, my question was going to be to everybody. Do y'all remember in For Colored Girls whenever, I think it was Anika Noni Rose's character, she couldn't conceive children because she had contracted an STD in college. So, but she had never told her husband until they found out that they couldn't have children. So at that point, and then the way he found out about the STD was at the doctor's office when the doctor basically told her husband that she couldn't conceive because of chlamydia or something like that whenever she was in college. So at that point, what is the conversation like? Because you're married and y'all are at the point where you guys are trying to conceive, and that was not a conversation that was had at all.
I mean, I think that when it comes to, we're just on that specific situation right there. I don't think that at the time that we're gonna go with, if the person has something and it's a curable disease, chlamydia, whatever have you, but there are repercussions to that sometimes if it goes untreated for so long, as we found out. But I don't think there's any, you have to look at the intent of the person. So if you're in a committed relationship with that person and in their past they've had that's some type of health issue and that health issue doesn't exist anymore, but there are repercussions to that, like you may not be able to conceive or whatever have you, or your sexual life is affected for that. It really depends on how open and honest you are with each other. It depends on what type of relationship you have. I think it just goes back to your level of honesty and your commitment to each other. It's just about transparency, you know? I mean, you can never really, for something like that, I don't think you can ever really predict the outcome, even if, you know, it's something curable, like say, I don't think you can ever really predict what the full outcome may be for someone based off like how they may react to their treatment or however. So it's kind of just being trusting with that person, trusting that the person that you're dealing with is going to still ride with you after that, you know?
So, let's get back to the original question. Do we feel like we could continue that relationship if we found out a person has something into that relationship?
I think it's a matter of if we. Sorry. I think we talk about like the scenario that we just had. Not telling your husband, if y'all are married at this point, y'all are invested in each other, I just think that's betrayal. That's like, I literally did not tell you this for a reason because I felt like I can outrun my past. I think that's different from someone being transparent with you 6 months in, 8 months in, a year and a half in, saying like, hey, this is serious. Like, we dated for a long time. I don't think we can get around this. This is where I'm at. You can choose to stay or leave. I think I would accept that better versus my husband telling me years down the line. I mean, at the point you're my husband, while we're engaged, I think that trial period is that time that we hashed out, okay, I may have a kid or two.
Oh shit.
In Indianapolis. You know, but it was 15 years ago and I never heard from the lady again. She told me she had an abortion, but you know, I don't know.
So you feel like you can continue that relationship?
With the transparency, yes. Okay. Without the transparency, I
don't.
So
somebody that says no, they couldn't continue that relationship.
Engaged?
Like, period. So let's say, like, I know we all know there's different ways to get things in life. Some people are born with things. Some people go through things as children. Let's say you have a wife. You guys are married. She got raped when she was 12. That's not something she's going to talk about until she's good and ready. But what happens when she discloses to you that I do have herpes? It's not something that you can contract because it is internal or something that we can protect ourselves from. But is that something that can you continue that relationship?
I think that's just a conversation you gotta have with God. We just have to pray on that. You definitely have to pray on that because like everything is circumstantial and circumstantial. Why am I saying it like that? Everything is circumstantial. So I think that if someone like the Hadia lady, everybody knows she was on Oprah when she was younger and she was born with HIV. And that's something like, if you're born with that, like, and you can't help that your mother gave you that, that's different than you out here in college and you was just doing what you wanted to do and you just didn't give a damn. But I just think it's different. I couldn't do it personally, but I do think that you have to have a conversation with God and you have to pray, and that speaks to what type of person you are internally, if you can deal with that, because it is a possibility that you would contract that disease, right?
Yeah, something like that where it's like you're born with it or something of that nature, I agree, situation to situation. I'm still having a hard time saying that like, oh, I could just kind of overlook it because you didn't do it yourself, because the fact is you still have it, and the fact is it would still affect me. I think about stuff like that all the time with like, men with kids. Would I date someone with a child? Like maybe not. It depends on the person, but that.
But kids are a part of the sexual past as well.
Yeah.
A part of, and I always say that kids are a deal breaker, but somebody else might not. You know what I mean? So how do you even take that?
It's definitely going to depend on the person. For a child, I could see myself dating someone who has a kid, depending on like how they care for their child.
Yeah.
You know, things of that nature. Are they involved? Are they in their life? Are they just a good person? You know, if he my Boaz, okay. But with an STD that you can't cure, I'm gonna be real. Like, I would like to say that, like, oh, you're a beautiful person and I can get over that, but I can't say that.
Well, this is the thing. Everything that a person has may not be something that they can pass on to you. But I think it's relevant to have that conversation, because what happens when you guys are together and they're sick and the doctor asks you, is there anything that person is
That's
on?
why you have to take all that kinds of stuff into consideration, because it's not even just for STDs, but there's other conditions that people have as well. Like, is that something that you're willing to take on? And that's something that you have to think about when you're in those dating phases. And there are some things that I'm not necessarily willing to take on. And there's other things that maybe I am willing to take on. I'm not sure.
So I love this space that we in, because when we started, we was like, it don't matter, your past is your past. Now we're like, oh, that shit is real. Oh, I know. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm here to make sure we know what we're talking about. So now let's talk about what we do in the bedroom, Tony. So that's So
I love this part. How do I get to the table for this?
Let's talk about the exploratory of the bedroom. How do you explore your sexuality essentially? How do you explore it? Like, when does that happen? When you have that conversation?
Safe words.
Like, oh.
How does that
Talking about
happen?
with the significant other.
Yeah, with your significant other.
But we're not talking about the one with herpes. We all
Okay.
Yeah, let's roll it back.
We're going to talk about exploring it with the one who you already know. When I call you on Wednesday at 5 o'clock every day, you better pick up because we're going down. You know, how do you explore your sexuality?
I'm going to flash back.
Hush, quit, stop. But how do you explore your sexual, like, how do you explore those urges? Let's talk to, all right, urge. You better urge on.
I think with sex, when it comes to exploring your sexuality and sexual urges, I mean, at the end of the day, sex is fun. I think all of us can agree that, well, we would hope that sex is fun for everybody that's having sex. So, I mean, I think if whether it's someone you're in a relationship with or, just your friends with benefits, whatever, like, I think if you trust that person or whatever y'all doing, you have to trust to a certain extent if you're having sex with them, Like, I think you should feel free to have those conversations and explore about it. And then figure out what it is both of you like, who doesn't like what, whatever. I think that just comes naturally with just kind of talking about it.
So you just bring it up?
I think you should just bring it up at the beginning, dependent on, like, what
read the
y'all's
room, feel the moment.
Exactly.
Hold on, wait. You need to do what? Say that again?
So obviously you're not gonna be like, first date, y'all just met. It's like, oh, she's cute. And by the way, do you do anal? Like, what are your thoughts on that? It's just like, what? We are definitely not at that place. You need to feel the room, because that is that's really abrasive. That's aggressive and that's abrasive. And it almost low-key feels disrespectful. I'm like, we're having a good time. This was nowhere near sex or sexually related.
You can say, hey, my name is Norman, I like to be tied up. Hey,
and that takes a very strong place of comfort, and some people are there and some people are not.
If you ain't there, baby, you ain't there. That means you ain't
tired.
True. Next, read the room. So let's come on, somebody else. Let's talk about it. How do you gauge when the conversation to be had, and how do you know when it's like safe?
Well, it might be a hat moment, but I'll say when it comes to, exploring things sexually, or whatever the case may be, I mean, I feel like personally I'm gonna have a tendency to take the lead on certain things and I'm gonna do certain things, but I still will ask questions because I know everybody is different and constructive criticism isn't bad. A lot of times guys try to act like we do everything perfect or that's the best shit you ever had in your life, right? But at the end of the day, a lot of guys think they're the best at sex, and girls have. They should. But a lot do. A lot of girls think they're the best too. A lot of girls think they're the best. I'm just saying, constructive criticism. I will ask a girl, like, do you prefer this, or if they say that's a spot, hang right there in that spot. But if we want to do something that we're going to expand upon that we haven't done, say our first few interactions, and she brings it to my attention, I'm going to assess, okay, and see where it goes from there. But I don't think it's like a set time over dinner where we're going to be like, hey, this is where I'm willing to go, this is how far I'm willing to go, and this is what I'm not willing to do.
You just explore it as it comes.
Yeah, but now if you do something ridiculous, you're just going to get stopped immediately. But But other than that, you know what I'm saying, we'll see where it goes.
Okay, we're gonna explore it as
Okay.
it comes.
So here's my thing. I just think we are being really cute right now. Let's imagine we're in the heat of the moment. Less talking is more. I'm not here to have a conversation.
Oh, I was talking about
Let's
after
talk.
session before the next
I'll
door.
tell somebody.
I was talking about in between times. I wasn't talking about all that.
Tell somebody I don't like that.
I think if you're
Don't bite me right there.
initially, I think it's best to just
Don't tell us
like
that.
let's fill the room, but also just like seize the moment to like explore without verbal conversation. This is a physical situation, so I think it's best to just be physical, be present in that moment physically without trying to do things perfectly. And I think from there, you know, obviously beforehand you talk about some things, but I think in a moment it's just like the worst question, do you like that?
No,
Over and over again.
No, you make a statement. You like that, don't you?
But that's assuming that I like it. That's assuming that I like it. But if you're present, you should know how I'm responding if I like it or not.
I think I was in the wrong place. I think y'all are meaning y'all talking about during the activity. Now, if we're actually having sex, I'm not gonna ask a bunch of questions. But if we're like building towards a relationship or we go together and we're, you know what I'm saying, then may talk about some things in between time. Now, in the actual midst of it going down, I'm not gonna be asking all like, give me some constructive criticism.
Y'all are tripping.
I can't read minds.
I'll talk shit, but I'm not gonna actually like ask a bunch of questions.
So I think it's important that we jump off of the actual interaction part of this conversation and just focus in a little bit deeper on what are we willing to do with that person? Because a lot of times we said earlier, some people want to be celibate. So like when does that come into play? When do we say, hey, listen, I'm saving my mouth for my marriage?
I can't speak on that.
Some people.
But you get it. A lot of times people are doing that.
Just like women's mouths work.
No, I'm just kidding. What I'm trying to say is that, I mean, we're talking about all these different specific situations. This is a whole situation. It also depends on who your partner is, like how open are you with your partner. You're saying like, I don't want a bunch of talk. You're saying, talk to me. You know, it just really depends. I mean, it's hard for me to really like.
It's how you
like,
say that. Let me. Never.
You want to say it?
I got a lot I need to say, but no. Well, go ahead, Dasha, because I can talk forever. Go ahead.
Look, you said it, not me. No, I'm just kidding. So I am a little different. So I'm one of those people. Okay, yeah, we can have a conversation or whatever. We can do a certain level of experimentation. But I'm gonna be real. I'm saving Sasha Fierce for when I'm married. Like, I'm not bringing that full side of myself out until I have a ring. For me personally, it's like I want to feel completely comfortable in whatever situation that I'm in and completely secure in whatever situation I'm in. And I understand that a ring doesn't necessarily mean anything, but for me and in whatever I'm going to be in, that a marriage is going to mean something. And so I'm just not exploring that full side of myself until.
Okay, I have a question. Yeah, who the hell? Like, give me.
Dasha.
Okay, so what if? Okay, I have a question.
Hold on, we gotta tag in, but I just want to know that we all understand who Dasha Fierce is.
I'm just saying, like,
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Okay, but I ain't picking it up. Okay, but hold on, I got something.
yeah.
My God.
I mean, I'm hearing a lot from everybody, right? But now let's say we run into just that person that's irresistible to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you've had fantasies about this person or whatever. Then where does the rules lie?
Yeah, because it's like one of those things where like you could meet somebody, like what if you save Dasha Fierce for when you get married and Dasha Fierce ain't ready for you to know that your husband likes threesomes? Like that's a boundary. That's a boundary though. Like there are people that like threesomes are a thing, like, and so you saved all this fierceness. And then your boundary is, well, damn, I don't like bitches, so I don't know if I want another one in my bed. You know what I mean? Like that's something
that's not something that I don't have to go.
Okay.
I don't have to go there with someone to know that I have that boundary, and I don't have to go there with someone for me to know that that's something that they want to do. You know, we can have conversations.
I'm not saying, that's what I'm saying though. Like, you're saving this person, that part of yourself for your marriage.
Oh, you're saying like, what if I like threesomes?
No, I'm saying like, what if, like, you're saying that you're saving Dasha fears for whenever you're married. And what if your husband is more fierce than you think Dasha fierce is? So y'all are having this conversation. He's like, you know, like, I want to have threesomes every time. I want you. I don't know. That's
you probably
your
need to bring
relationship.
that up.
I'm not sure. Like,
you probably need to bring that to the if you're, I mean,
but
I
at
don't
one
think
point,
there's
do
any
you
guys who don't
say
like
like,
threesomes, but if you're gonna be serious about like, I want to keep having threesomes. No, not liking them is one thing. Doing them with your wife or a girl is another thing. Most guys be cool with two girls, but if you're gonna discuss that as being a part of your relationship, that's totally different.
Only every 2 weeks.
Because liking it.
Right.
Only every 2 weeks.
I hate what Colton said. I think a lot of men fantasize about saying, "Oh, I wouldn't mind if my girl was with a girl," but then when that actually takes place and the women are having a good old time,
they get
and they're going shopping to the mall, and you know they're getting their hair done together, and they're taking trips out of town together.
Have fun.
At that point,
have a great time. I'll join you later.
Men say that, but I don't think men are consciously that women are creatures too. Like, we can develop relationships with one another just the same as men can develop with the opposite sex as well. So I just think it's a little tricky when I hear guys say, "Oh, I wouldn't mind if my girl had a such and such," but at the same time, it's just like, be careful what you ask for. Is all I'm saying.
Oh, I agree with that. So with that being said, talking about, you know, I think you need to have a very strong sense of self. You need to know, there needs to be a level of personal exploration before you go venture out to the world. You need to take some time to yourself to learn what you like. You need to take that minute and be like, okay, well, as Jasmine, this is what Jasmine likes. And then I've kind of played with this. I've dabbled by myself and I'm like, I don't like that. And another important thing, respect your voice and make sure your partner respects it. Because when you drop that bomb of no in the middle of whatever it could be, you could be like, he's got the condom on, your drawers are dropped, and then you could have pull to the side, drop, you over a counter, be whatever. If something happens, you know, if there's a shift on his part or the woman's part, and that no is dropped, you have to respect it.
When I'm naked?
Yes, absolutely. So if a man is on top of you, if a man is on top of you, if a man is inside of you, if he has a half a pump in and you say no, stop, that's enough, we gotta respect that. And absolutely, I think a lot of people don't know. They're like, oh well, you know, I'm physically enjoying it, even though I'm kind of uncomfortable, so I'm gonna just let him go. No, you need to be comfortable in yourself above all else before you want to introduce someone else. So just know the strength in your voice, and when you say no, let that power be behind it. Like, say what you mean and mean what you say. And that's, you know, that's a very important part of boundaries, because at the end of the day, it's like there are certain conversations that will be uncomfortable, but you have to get over it. Like, as an adult, as people in the world, you're gonna have to be like, you know what, this is an uncomfortable conversation, but it needs to be had. So even if you halfway in and you get that no, that is what it is. So you need to be an adult.
That turns me off.
I see a common theme here. I mean, this sexual exploration stuff, like it's wonderful, it's great. But what I really want to make the point is that you guys are saying we need to be having, like, with your partner, we need to be having these very serious, very open conversations. It's hard to have those open conversations with just anybody. Right. You're not really connected with.
Give them the book.
But that's what
you know, and I understand everybody wants their freedom, you know, just one night stands, do you boo, do all that. But what I'm saying is if you're trying to be safe, have safe sex, you're trying to protect yourself, you're trying to be smart about who you're with, like, you need to spend some time with somebody. You need to figure out who this person really is, right? And then you can do all those, you know, whatever things you want to do.
How are you gonna learn somebody else if you don't even know you yet, though? I feel like that's important
that comes
too.
first.
Right.
That should already like.
So this is the thing. I feel like when you tell somebody no, it ends the moment.
As it should. That's
it. But like I'm talking about all together. Like you be like, I don't want you to kiss me. Oh, don't kiss you. Oh, see, this is done. This is. We can't.
Wait, you don't want to wait. So is that's
childish? What you
What's
mean?
childish to you? Might not be childish.
So the thing about it for me is, because I am such an open person, and I generally have these conversations. Like I don't just come and deliver all my news, on day one. But I slowly introduce you to who I am, and that means like whatever that looks like. I mean, maybe a joke on Wednesday. Tuesday we may have a serious conversation about something. Thursday we may jump, and I might be like, "How you see that on TV? What you think about that?" Just to kind of figure out what you like and what you don't like. And if I figure out that I like what you like and you like what I like we in this moment, don't tell me no, because if you tell me no, I'm done.
Wait, no,
I'm over.
Here's the thing about you saying what I can tell you to do with my body. You don't get that right. Just like if I'm doing something to you, and let's just have a little fun here, guys. Let's loosen up. If I'm handling business and I may want to slide a finger somewhere, and you say no, I can't just go ahead and do that just because I feel like I'm in the moment. But that's just the same thing.
And that's communication too.
But again, to what you said, I said usually, most times for me, because I'm such an amazing communicator, I would have already communicated my boundaries along the way. So I already know what you like and don't like.
You know for 100% they're picking up what you're putting down because you didn't know who Dasha Fierce was.
That's why I ain't gonna pick up Dasha.
But the thing is, just because I'm okay. Just because I'm okay with it yesterday don't mean I want to do it today. I have the right to say no whenever I want to say. So you might have done your research and you know what I like, but just because I like it today don't mean just because I want to.
Because moods change, things change. Yes, like okay, we talking about it. So there was this guy, my ex-boyfriend, and we finally did anal, and then he started neglecting my vagina. So it was just like I don't even like anal anymore. Because that opens up, for real, that's a conversation. We can talk like that at the table. But I'm just saying, but that's a part of, you might like something one day, and then we're talking about creatures of habit, and at first, okay, it was fresh, it was new, but then after a while, this is the main one I want you to be about, shawty, I don't have to know about other stuff, so.
But like I said, for me, it just depends. I guess everybody's a little bit different, but for me, like I said, communication is key, period, when we're talking about that, and I think that, a lot of people do their research and go in-depth research. So yeah, it's not gonna be the one conversation. I want to know, so you did that before? How many times? What you think about it?
What is your sexual about? What is your biggest no, hell no, we won't go? Because we're both quite open. So I just want to know, Norman, what's your sexual about? What's your deal?
Well, to be honest. So to be honest with you, to be truthfully honest with you, my deal breakers depend on where our relationship lies. So for somebody that I'm just kicking it with, nah, we ain't fit to grow, we ain't going nowhere but one way. But for somebody that I'm dating, we might, we got open streets going. For somebody that I really like, I might try to reach, But listen, if I'm infatuated with you and I'm trying to listen, you ain't going nowhere. I don't know. Hey, we might just reach for the sky. Hey, we gonna try it. It is what it is.
Even if it makes you uncomfortable.
So the thing about it is,
So you hold out on your Sasha Fierce too?
I'm so comfortable with myself and my sexuality that my sexuality doesn't necessarily define me, but I enjoy sex. I enjoy my sex and every bit of it. I will do and try just about anything under this.
My thing is everybody don't deserve that.
They don't. That's what I'm saying. I got to research
That's
you.
how
far you got to go.
Everybody don't deserve that.
I think we had a question behind you talking.
Oh, I was just going to say, basically, when it comes to those kind of boundaries as well, you have to be as transparent. But when it comes to communicating, body language during sex is the biggest thing. So while you should say no, let your body say no. When you're with somebody, when y'all are having sex, that's an intimate moment where it's just a one-time fuck or where this relationship. Let your body language say what's going on. Me personally, my boundaries come as like somebody else said previously with who I'm with. If I like you to a certain extent, we're gonna do certain things. When I come in factually with you, more, the door opens for things that please you but don't please me, but because I want you to have fun during our sex moment, I'm gonna do it with you, for you. So it's still a give, take perspective.
But then they start neglecting
My thing is, I think regardless of, you know, comfortability, I think it's past comfortability, because obviously if you sleep with somebody, y'all to a certain level, y'all comfortable to a certain level. I think it doesn't matter if you're in a open relationship, it doesn't matter if you're in a monogamous relationship, it doesn't matter if you're married. If your partner says, not tonight, babe, no, I have gas, I don't want to do that, or just a no. Like, at first it's like a gentle no, it's like, wait, quit playing. Then it's like, babe, no, I said no, like, stop. At that point, I just feel like you have to respect that, just because it's my body, and I said what I said, and I meant what I said, and vice versa.
Because let's be honest, rape culture still exists in
Thank you.
relationships.
That's why I think it's so important to say these conversations. No means no, period. No matter if y'all in a relationship or not.
So, like, for me, you said no means no, but what happens when, like, you have to look at it from other standpoints of, they may not say, you may say no, but everybody doesn't really understand that no means, like, stop. Like, that no, sometimes people play and role play and get into all of those nice love.
You want to do this together?
No means no. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. A no is a no.
Period.
And that's what people need to absolutely respect. You're saying you get it, but you're like, oh, but what if? I feel like if you get it, if you respect me, that's it. It's not a, oh, well, let me see if I can find my way around this. Because I hate to drop this bomb. I have been raped. And I have physically told somebody no, and it didn't stop. So when I say no is no is no, get off. It's over. The moment is over. That was a moment. Moments are fleeting. Time is relevant. However you want to say it. There's another moment that can happen between you, or there's another, or that was it. So no is no. Stop is stop. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. That's it.
But
I think that I appreciate you sharing that. And
Yeah,
it took a lot to share that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to add to that by saying that when you're in a relationship, whether it be a sexual relationship, whether it be just talking or whatever, if I'm going to stay on my train that if you take the time to get to know somebody, to grow respect for somebody, all those things that we, not necessarily cool to say, but we should be doing anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Then the no means like that doesn't become an issue. And I feel like we put the cart before the horse so many times in relationships, and people don't respect each other enough. We talked about the hoe phase last episode, and I think we need to be wary about how we speak about things, how we think about things. So that we're not teaching our young boys to not understand that no means no, that, oh, we're just trying to explore boundaries. No. If somebody says no, that means no.
Mm-hmm. But then at the same time, fantasy, they do these things, not saying that it's right, because no do mean no, but there are people out here who do live those lives, because we have people who say no, but then why you stop? No. Why you stop? But you see what I'm saying? But at the same time, like I said, I spend my time getting to know a person that is so much, so you don't have to say no. I know by the way you walking around the house tonight that this is done. I'm over. We ain't doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? But right, I knew by the way you was texting me. There ain't no point in me coming over there. It's done. But as we all know, we have had an amazing conversation at the table today as we explore our sexual boundaries. So I want to thank you guys for joining us today. Again next week, Tony.
I'm excited for next week where we'll be talking about something just as juicy.
Just as juicy.
So don't neglect us. No, keep coming back for more.
Always remember, like and comment. If you got a comment, you want to say something to us, put it in the notes. If you want to say, hey, you know what, Daryl, I don't like the way you said that. I don't like that at all. Go ahead and put it in the comments so we can let them know. We'll be glad to tell them. You guys have a great day.
This is really pushing the envelope what I'm about to say, but if you go in your closet and you shoot yourself in the head because you can't take it anymore.
In my family, there are multiple people who have multiple disorders.
Okay.
Everybody has something going on. So growing up, I was normal compared to others. So when we would talk about maybe my grandmother, for example, who is bipolar, schizophrenic, multiple personality disorder, I can go down the list. She has a lot of things going on.
There's been studies lately that have been showing that a lot of Black people go to the doctor and they don't get the same level of care as everybody else gets.
Yes, we do get different care.
Yes.
Insurance companies drive healthcare.
Yeah.
I've seen it personally in my hands that, all right, we want to be able to give this someone, a patient with psoriasis that's hurting, that is, going through a tough time. They're gonna prescribe them another drug that they know is not gonna really help them.